Fabulous, you're here. It's First Chapter Fridays. Last week, we started reading a chapter book called Dirty Bertie Germs. We are going to continue reading another chapter or two of Dirty Bertie this week, only because we're still getting used to the routine and we're getting used to using Mayan. The reason we do this is because it will expose you to lots of styles of writing and because it gets you excited about a new book, a new series. You're already started, so over the weekend, you might as well finish it. I'm sure you'll be eager to know what happens next to Dirty Bertie as we read today. You'll notice that I am on the Mayan main page. Because I signed in last week, I already have my username and password in, so let's sign in. I will use the search tool to find Dirty Bertie because I've already searched him. He even pops up on his own. And there's our book. Let's read the overview. What kind of trouble will Bertie get into next in this trio of tales? Bertie tries to catch his sister's horrible illness, finds himself partnering with his grandma at a dancing competition, and meets his match in a new babysitter who's even grubbier than he is. Ooh, we did not hear anything about grandma or the babysitter last week. What we did find out was that Bertie, who is our somebody that this is all about, Bertie wanted to catch the chicken pox on purpose because, or so, he wouldn't have to go to school like his sister. We'll be practicing a strategy called Somebody Wanted, But So Then. That will help us retell what happens in a chapter or what happens in a story. In chapter 1, we know our somebody is Bertie. He's our main character. Bertie wanted to get sick on purpose, but he needed to convince his family and he needed to do something about it in the first place. So he develops a plan, then runs off before we can find out what happens next. Whew. Let's read. Now, I already read chapter 1 with you, so we need to skip ahead to chapter 2.
Chapter 2. Bertie knew exactly what he needed to give himself chickenpox. Germs. Germs spread diseases, and luckily for him, they were everywhere. His parents were always saying, "Don't touch that, Bertie, it's covered in germs." Cats and dogs had germs. Toilets were crawling with them. You got germs from picking your nose or eating food off the floor. Bertie had always wanted to examine some germs under a microscope. He imagined tiny armies of germs, all with scowling faces and hairy legs. Cold germs would be green. Chickenpox germs would be covered in spots. But where did you catch them? Bertie looked around the bathroom and spotted Susie's pink toothbrush. That would be covered in her germs. He squeezed out a blob of toothpaste. Brushing your teeth with your sister's toothbrush was pretty disgusting, even for Bertie. But if it meant missing school, it would be worth it. "Bertie," called Mom, "what are you doing up there?" "Nothing," shouted Bertie. "Just brushing my teeth." He swallowed some toothpaste to give the germs a better chance to work. Then he stared at his face in the mirror and waited. But nothing happened. "Unbelievable," Bertie thought. "What do you have to do to catch a few measly germs?" Bertie walked out of the bathroom and saw his mom carrying a glass of lemonade down the hall toward Susie's room. "Is that for Susie?" asked Bertie. "Can I take it to her?" "Why?" Mom asked suspiciously. "I'm just being helpful," Bertie said sweetly. said Mom. I don't think so. I don't want you catching her germs. I won't, said Bertie. I won't even go near her. I'll just put it down where she can reach it. Mom eyed Bertie strangely. It wasn't like him to offer to help. Okay, she said, but don't spill, and don't bother your sister. Bertie smiled to himself. Once Susie took a drink from the glass, it would be covered in her germs. One little sip of that lemonade, and he'd be drinking billions of them. Susie was sitting up in bed, looking miserable, when Bertie walked in. What do you want? She groaned. I brought you some lemonade, said Bertie. He smiled sweetly at his sister. Susie narrowed her eyes. Why? What are you up to? Nothing, said Bertie. I'm just trying to help. You don't fool me, said Susie. You want to catch my chicken pox so you don't have to go to school. I do not, Bertie lied. Have some lemonade. I'm not thirsty, Susie said. Just a sip, Bertie said, holding the glass closer to her. Go away, Susie yelled. Here, let me help, Bertie said. He pressed the glass to Susie's lips and tipped it up. Susie choked and spluttered. Lemonade spilled onto her pajamas and the sheets. Mom, wailed Susie. Bertie's being mean. Mom's feet pounded up the stairs. What's going on? She demanded. Bertie, what did you do? Nothing, cried Bertie. Bertie spilled on the bed, howled Susie. Bertie, shouted Mom, get out. Bertie quickly escaped to his bedroom. He still had the glass, and luckily there was a little lemonade left in the bottom. He could almost see the germs swimming around in it like tiny tadpoles. Chicken pox, here I come, Bertie thought. He downed the lemonade in one big gulp. Then he ran to the bathroom and stared at his face. A minute passed. 2 minutes. Bertie lifted his shirt and stared at his belly. Not a single spot. This is so unfair, thought Bertie. Susie got chicken pox without even trying. Time was running out. Any minute now, Mom would drag him off to school, and he would have to face Miss Boot. There was no escape. Unless... Bertie suddenly remembered his mom's big blue medical book. He raced into the study and found it on the shelf. Bertie opened the book and flipped through its pages. Boils, bruises, burns. There it was. Chicken pox. Chicken pox. Illness common in children. Symptoms: small, itchy red spots, fever, aches and pains, sickness, loss of appetite. See Figure 1. Treatment: bed rest. If a child has chicken pox, do not send them to school, even if they beg you. Bertie read the list of symptoms twice, and then closed the book. Maybe I don't actually need to catch anything, he thought. I just need to make Mom think I have chicken pox. The more Bertie thought about it, the more brilliant his plan seemed. He'd be completely safe. No Miss Boot, no school, and no handing in homework.
Oh man, I don't know what he's thinking. Hopefully you do because of the clues in the chapter. Let's use our summary strategy. Somebody wanted, but so then, to retell what happened in chapter 2. In chapter 2, we know Bertie is our somebody. Bertie wanted to catch the chicken pox, but His sister caught on to his plan when he tried to get her germs on a lemonade glass. So Bertie gave up but developed a new plan, then began some research before knowing he did not have to actually get sick. I wonder what he'll do in order to still trick his mom, but this time without actually getting the chicken pox. We'll be using Somebody Wanted But So Then a lot this year, especially with fiction text. I hope you have a good weekend, and I hope you spend time reading each night. Log on to Myon. Find out what happens in the next chapters of Dirty Birdie Germs. Remember in the overview, they mentioned grandma dancing and a babysitter that's worse than Bertie is? Read to find out. Tell me about it. Thanks for reading, friends.